He was
I
there.
Or you have not seen him before, he's going to be there. Do you get? But now, you will actually want to reach out to White Money, and White Money will be nowhere to be found. I kind of feel the same about White Money too.
Oh, wow.
Because White... Wait, no, not in a bad way. Me,
Okay.
I don't care. Maybe it's busy, it's different from my busy. By busy, I still have time to check up on the people I care about. Inside the house, he was a great friend to me. I don't know what happened, and he became a different person.
What did you...
Hi, I'm Isirabo. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, and if you're not, welcome back to my channel. So before we start with the recap of the finale, please don't forget to like my video because it helps me out and helps my channel grow and helps my video get seen by more people. So help your girl out. Let's dive right into the finale of the Big Brother 2022 reunion. Unlike the last 2 weeks of episodes, the Big Brother finale was 1 hour long. So instead of 3 segments, they divided into 4 different segments. The first segment was basically like resolutions and apologies for all the quarrels. Well, most of the quarrels and the fights that happened during the reunion. But even though like a lot of things were resolved, so many of them were unresolved. Like now, Tega, they showed the behind the scenes clip where Tega was mad at Pere that Pere didn't come out to defend her.
The issue with Pere is Pere came out of the house. You heard these things, it was making the rounds, and you didn't counter it.
That during his interviews, even though he was well aware of, like, according to her, the fact that she was separated and Pere was basically like there was nothing he could do, that he didn't want to get in the middle of all that mess between her and Boma and people's reaction to it. Cross and Angel, there was no resolution, they were still arguing. And I've said it before in the comments of like the previous live streams, but I still feel like there is the reason why Cross cannot come out outright and say all the things that he has done for Angel is because most of these things seem to be like really private issues. Because during the clips he was alluding to the fact that, I'll show a clip of it, he did some stuff for Angel's family, her father and her mother and stuff like that.
I pretty much have receipts of every situation that we've been through. If I'm to count, even your popsy, if I'm to count the things like I have done, what I have done.
For them, not to me. You can say, oh, my dad, that's my mom, this.
Angel
Was like, anything he does for her family has nothing to do with her. We're basically saying, being like, okay, you did stuff for my family doesn't mean you did stuff for me. And I'm like, okay, doing stuff for your family, is it not kind of doing stuff for you too? What do you guys think about that? And the way she was going, like, he never did this, he never did that. That's why I still feel like there was a deeper relationship between Cross and Angel than they are admitting to, like, during the reunion. Because the way she's very hot about how she claimed that he didn't value her and stuff is way, like, it seems like the issue is too deep to just be like, okay, I'm hurt that my friend did not value me. And Cross was like, he basically got tired of her being on and off and ghosting like she did in the house, that she can decide to turn off for like 2 weeks, 1 month. She will just ghost him. She will not reply to any of his texts. She will not reply to any of his messages or calls, and that he did a lot of things for her, but he doesn't want to come out and say them because he has too much respect for her, which basically like proves my point. Tega also like queried Sammy on the whole like chicken saga, where Sammy said he's suspecting that Tega was the one that stole his chicken, and I feel like that whole issue was just like, filler, just to add more content or more like time to their, more drama to the whole reunion. Because basically like, that issue was dead and forgotten. I even forgot that something happened with chicken totally in the house. And then Pere apologized to Queen for his comments, apologized to Nini for calling Nini. He apologized to Henry for calling her ugly. Basically most of the first quarter, most of the first segment was just apologies. But there were 2 highlights I did not expect. The first one was Beatrice being like, very confidently stating that she can get Pere at any time she wants, that blah blah blah, that she had stayed longer, she would have been able to snatch Pere back from Maria.
If you had stayed longer, something would have still happened.
Yes.
even with Maria in the picture. Why do you think so?
Because first, I'm a very, very beautiful girl. And
A confident queen.
yes. And secondly, I think I have all it takes to take who I like the man I like back.
So you say
Then the main one out of this whole thing was that Emmanuel suddenly backtracked and was like Liquorose was never his girlfriend. He never asked Liquorose out. They were never official. They were never dating.
I know for a fact that I never asked Rose out. We never agreed to the fact that we're dating, I was her boyfriend or she's my girlfriend.
And I'm like, dude, what are you trying to claim at the end? When we all knew you guys were dating, you came out to say you guys were dating, and it was a whole like ship, a whole big deal. And then suddenly, like, because wind don't blow, found yash don't open, like all your dirty laundry, your secrets are out, and like she took you to task and exposed the fact that you cheated. Suddenly, the person that you were dating for how many months, you guys were never official. The person that you guys were going to events together with, like, I think that was the main, like, the height of it for me. Take responsibility for your actions. Okay, you cheated, apologize. Even if you guys don't talk again, like, man up, be a man and apologize and be like, okay, I'm sorry that I cheated. Like, admit that you did wrong, instead of be like, okay, oh, this guy has exposed me for cheating, so the next time I'm going to be like, I never asked her out, we were never official, we were never dating, so I never cheated on her, she was never my girlfriend. Even Liquorose was like, don't act, like, don't make me seem like a mad person here, we were dating, what are you trying to pull? That was basically like the first segment. Now let's talk about the second segment. Second segment wasn't really that much of a big deal. Started with appreciating white money, the winner of the house, like Ebuka was like, it feels like they don't appreciate white money enough for winning and stuff like that. Then he asked the housemates what they felt like they gained from being in the house, whether it was worth it. And then Jackie B was like, yeah, she auditioned twice for the house, and she was like, okay, it led her on a path of personal growth, like being in the Big Brother house. The girls was like, yeah, she feels like being in the Big Brother house was worth it, because it was like a whole different experience than she had ever had before. So it opened like a new path for her. Even Angel was like, while she was in the house, it didn't feel like this big deal, and it was just at the like dying moments, like the last day, when Big Brother was like telling them bye and his voice went off, that it suddenly went off in her head like, oh shit, like this stuff is actually a huge deal, like this stuff is bigger than I made it seem. That was basically all of the second segment. Nothing much happened there. Then we move on to the third segment. The third segment started off with Earrings like talking about being in the house and the house experience, and him explaining that, okay, while they were in the house, emotions were heightened, so like they didn't really feel like they were actually immersed in the experience because of like the emotional toll it was taking on them. And then a few of the other housemates also talked about it, like JMK. Now JMK, I feel like JMK subtly shaded the housemates, because this guy said about like making friendships in the house, and JMK basically shut down that like line and was like, no, she didn't really make friendships in the house. It had nothing to do with them being strangers. It had how did she put it? Like, it had to do with energy. She felt like their energy was bad or something, like she reciprocates energy. If you give her good energy, she give you good energy back. Basically implying, even though she didn't state it outright, that okay, she didn't get any kind of good energy or good vibes from the people in the house. That's why she's not really friends with anybody in the house. You know, Irene had been a fan of the show for like 15 years. Yeah, she even showed her pictures that she had of, I think, the first ever show or something like that. And she basically compared her experience being a fan and her experience being an actual housemate in the house. And then she was like, okay, she found him, it was different. She was like, she knew it was going to be different, but she didn't actually expect how different it ended up being. That, you know, it's easy seeing something behind a camera and then judging and then being like, oh, if I was in this situation, I would do this and I would do this and I would do that. But when you actually get like into the house and you get immersed in the house, you find out that, okay, things are a bit different than I thought. Actually being in this situation is way different than I thought it was going to be, or that I predicted it was going to be. And then they talked about like their preferences between Friday pool parties and Saturday night parties, which I feel like I thought people were going to be like, okay, they prefer the Saturday night parties, but it seemed like most of them had fun like at the Saturday night parties and they were always excited for it. But a lot of people way more than I thought. Like way more people than I thought were like, no, that they actually prefer the Friday pool parties. Although J. Paul was a bit of a pervert and was like he prefers the Friday pool parties because of the way the girls dress and the aesthetic of it, or the bikinis and everything. And that was basically the end of the third segment. Now we get to the fourth segment, which is also the final segment. The first segment started with Ebuka asking Saga about whether it was possible to find love in the Big Brother house.
Do you think it's possible to find love in the house? Yes.
It's kind of ironic. How is this Saga for people that you're asking whether it's possible to find love in the Big Brother house, when Saga's whole like relationship drama was basically one of the major sources of like drama throughout the whole season? Even if nobody else, of course, is going to say yes, it's possible to find love. But I get his point a bit. It was like, being in the house, there's no makeup, there's no putting on airs. Eventually, you expose your real self, so you get to know this person way deeper than you would otherwise get to know the person. Because if you're dating somebody, you meet at a pre-arranged time, like in the normal world, you meet at a pre-arranged time, so you're able to dress up, you're able to make up, like you're able to get yourself together and put on a character almost if you want to. But in a place where you're with the person 24/7, day in, day out, it will eventually get to the point where there's no way you can pretend again. You have to be yourself at a particular point. So it helps you get to know the person way in a way deeper level than you would otherwise, and that would help with love, and which I feel like I agree with him a bit on that. Then Ebuka asked Pere about the hardship that the housemates have with like evictions and nominating fellow housemates for evictions, and then Pere was like it was hard, and Ebuka was like it was hard for you, Pere, like even you, because we all know that during the evictions Pere was like boom boom, it would just be like boom boom. Pere is not even scared. Immediately he enters, Pere would just drop name anyhow, like even names that people did not expect him to drop. Pere would just be like this and he'll be smiling and laughing and he with the person, and next thing you know Pere went out. I feel like that's one of the main reasons why people really dislike Pere at that time. Pere would just enter the diary room for nominations, and then people like think that Pere is very strong friends with Pere, would just call their name for eviction, and people are like, this guy is bad though, this guy can actually kill a human being and nobody would know because his thoughts doesn't really like show on his face. Then they asked a few of the housemates if they felt like the reunion was necessary. Nini talked about the reunion and she was like, yeah, it's necessary because it gives people a chance to talk about certain issues and change a personal narrative or particular idea that people have about them. Even Beatrice was like, yeah, she feels the reunion is necessary because it gave her a chance to clear the air. Even if anybody else says the reunion is not necessary, Beatrice has no mouth to talk, because I feel like this reunion was the Beatrice show. Beatrice was involved in almost every single conversation from the start. I feel like there's no episode that Beatrice did not talk. Honestly, Beatrice was involved in everything. And talking about somebody not talking, do you know I even forgot that Princess was a housemate in this house? Honestly, Princess did not make a single sound, did not make a single word throughout this whole reunion. Meanwhile, everybody was struggling to make themselves known, everybody was struggling to make themselves seen. Beatrice was practically like overhanging everybody, even in situations where you're like, Beatrice, I did not see this happen, where are you getting your story from? Beatrice shall put herself inside. Princess was quiet in the house. The same complaint that people had about her. She was quiet in the house. Part of the reason why she got evicted. Princess came to the reunion again. Princess could not even fabricate one drama that would get her noticed. Princess was quiet to the extent that I even forgot that there was a housemate called Princess. Until suddenly, when Ebuka asked whether the housemates would, repeat the experience of coming to the Big Brother's house, and he was like, Princess, would you? And she was like, no.
Princess, would you do it again? Why not? You've not recovered.
Exactly.
And I was like, Jesus Christ, there's even somebody called Princess in this house. Like, I totally forgot that she even existed. Because the same behavior she exhibited in the house, the same behavior she exhibited in the reunion. And I'm like, dude, if you know that, I know some people are introverted and quiet and reserved, but I feel like Big Brother Naija is not the right place for that kind of behavior. If you don't want to relate, if you don't want to talk, you are this kind of person that you want to stay in your lane all the time, Big Brother Naija is not the platform for you. It's for you to get seen and heard. And she was like basically wasted a second opportunity to make herself known. I was like, wow. like when they ask the question, I'll put a clip for you to see. Like some people raised up their hands and yeah, they will absolutely do it again. But a lot of people did not raise their hands up, which shocked me. Even Liquorose was her hands were down and like basically stating, like implying that she would not do like the whole experience again.
Who would do this again?
Even though they didn't ask her like why she wouldn't do it, but that was basically what it meant, that she wouldn't go through the whole experience again. And Samuel was like, yeah, he will go through the whole experience again, but this time he will come in with more white money strategy, because you know white money had everything prepared back to back to back. White money had video proof of every single thing he did, every single thing he claimed. White money had proof of it. And first was like, wow, he will come back to Big Brother's house just because of the lack of bills in Big Brother's house. Like the outside world, you have to pay rent, you have to buy food for yourself, your light, there's like light is not guaranteed, and even if light is guaranteed, you have to pay light bills. In Big Brother's house, everything is basically free. You know, you just have to do some certain tax that to get some certain benefits, but apart from that, you have light, you have access to everything you want in the house. And that's absolutely why he would do it again. And that was basically the end of the fourth segment. And it ended with Ebuka stating that this year, according to like people, was the year of like the best dressed housemates, like, and also that it was record breaking, both in them crossing over 1 billion votes for the first time ever, and also like this was the first season in 5 years with no single disqualification. And that was how Big Brother season 6 2022 reunion finale ended. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, also comment your thoughts, tell me how you felt throughout this whole journey of this Big Brother finale, the most ridiculous moments you felt happened in the house, and even during this reunion, the things you expected, the things you did not expect. Tell me that in the comments below. And if you don't really have much to say, just drop a love emoji. Thank you for watching this video. Love you. Bye.
The journey has been going on, and this is it's not goodbye, but I'll say it's more thank you to you guys for giving us an amazing season, for whatever